nothing sensitive happened. And I guess the logical conclusion of that is that if these messages had gone out publicly prior to the launch, that wouldn't have been a risk to service members. I don't know that they're comfortable with that.
Let us embark on an academic exploration of the fascinating intersection between military operational security and political message control. For those just joining this particular discourse, The Atlantic has published the contents of a leaked Signal chat inadvertently shared with their editor-in-chief. This chat contained what any reasonable observer might characterize as detailed military strike information. It specified launch times for F-18s, deployment schedules for Tomahawk missiles, and precise timing for when, in the Defense Secretary's all-capitalized words, the first bombs will definitely drop.
Let me ask you if I can very quickly. In the chat, Pete Hegseth, the Defense Secretary, details F-18s, Tomahawks, so some of the weapons that were used. He details the timing involved for this.
Now I possess a doctorate in political economics from the London School of Economics, not military classification systems. However, one might reasonably conclude that knowing precisely when fighter jets will launch and bombs will drop constitutes information that, perhaps, shouldn't be shared with journalists via text message.
I would characterize this messaging thread as a policy discussion, a sensitive policy discussion, surely, amongst high-level cabinet officials and senior staff. And I'm so glad, Peter, that you said the American public can decide for themselves, because I think the American public should decide for themselves based on the outcome of this operation.
A policy discussion. One that helpfully included exact timestamps for bombing runs. I've attended numerous policy discussions during my 7 years teaching at Oxford and my time advising 3 consecutive governments, and I must have missed the ones where we scheduled precise moments for explosives to detonate. Let's examine the logical framework being constructed here, shall we? If we accept the premise that nothing sensitive happened, then we must also accept its corollary that these messages could have been publicly available before the military operation without endangering American service members. This creates what we in academia refer to as cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort that arises from holding 2 contradictory beliefs simultaneously. On one hand, we're told this information wasn't sensitive. On the other, it's acknowledged that its pre-operation disclosure would have endangered troops.
We have said all along that no classified material was sent on this messaging thread. There were no locations, no sources or methods revealed, and there were certainly no war plans discussed.
The Pentagon's own classification manual, a document I became intimately familiar with during my government service, explicitly categorizes significant military plans as classified information at the secret level. Yet here we witness an administration suggesting that precise operational timelines are merely informal chatter.
Great respect for Dave Portnoy, but I just answered that previous question from Jennifer. As for your original question about who's looking into the messaging thread, the National Security Council, the White House counsel's office, and also, yes, Elon Musk's team. Elon Musk has offered to put his technical experts on this to figure out how this number was inadvertently added to the chat. Again, to take responsibility and ensure this can never happen again.
Ah yes, exactly who I'd recommend investigating a potential national security breach, a tech billionaire's team. During my time advising government on crisis management, the first rule was always involve as many outside parties as possible in sensitive investigations. I'm being told that was never a rule. How peculiar! What's most striking isn't merely the contradiction between the official position and the published evidence, but the apparent inability to employ what my parents taught me was the simplest solution to most problems: honesty. We made a mistake. Operational details were shared on an inappropriate channel. We're addressing it. Instead, we witness what I call the "nothing to see here" protocol. Insist no problem exists while simultaneously investigating the non-existent problem.
Sure. Well, again, first of all, Signal has been an approved app for government use. It's an encrypted app, and as I said, it's the most safe and efficient way of communicating, especially when people can't be in a skiff or inside a room physically together. I think, as the president said yesterday, he wishes that everybody could be in the room, and it's our goal to ensure that everybody can be. But again, no classified information was discussed in this chat, and any time classified information is discussed amongst high-level officials across this administration, secure lines of communication are used.
Signal may indeed be encrypted, but all the encryption in the world becomes irrelevant when you accidentally add a journalist to your military planning group chat. That's not a failure of technology, it's a failure of attention. My cat Sovereignty, who regularly walks across my keyboard during Zoom lectures and has yet to accidentally email state secrets to the press, seems to possess superior operational security protocols than some government officials. What we are witnessing is a textbook example of how political messaging increasingly operates independent of factual reality. When inconvenient facts emerge, they aren't addressed, they're simply redefined. Thus, classified operational details become a policy discussion. A security breach becomes nothing to see here, and accountability becomes a concept best applied to others. The lesson. In contemporary politics, it's apparently easier to deny reality than acknowledge a mistake. George Orwell would be taking notes, if he weren't too busy weeping. I'm Dr. Marcus Pemberton, and as always, I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this.